Okay, hello everybody. We are going to work on identifying noun clauses. The good news is this is the last type of clause we're going to be working on this semester. Hold on. Okay, so first let's start with the definition. Just like the other clauses, a noun clause is a clause that acts like a noun. That's easy enough. At this point, you know what a clause is. A clause is a subject, a verb, and an object. And you know what a noun is. A noun is a person, place, or thing. But that's only one word. You need to think of a noun clause as the whole clause. And so in order for the whole clause to act like a noun, that means it has to be the subject of the sentence or the object of the sentence. It's not the verb, right? So if you think about your SVO, you're going to have your subject is a noun or your object is a noun. Yes, there are signal words with noun clauses. Yes, there are signal words with noun clauses, but you can't rely on those because they are going to overlap with some other signal words. For example, I don't know when I will. Okay, so for example, I don't know when I will walk the puppy. The puppy, yeah. Um, okay, if you just use when is normally the signal word for an adverb clause. But that's not right because you can't move it. Remember when we talked about adverb clauses, and some of you are going to go back and revisit what we talked about with adverb clauses now that we're talking about different types of clauses. But one of the things I told you about adverb clauses is you could move them. And clearly you can't move this. When I will walk the puppy, I don't know. No, that's not going to work. So it's not an adverb clause. But you have to look at how it's used in the sentence. So if you look at the sentence, I don't know when I will walk the puppy. The subject of the sentence is I. The verb is don't know. And that means everything after don't know is the object, basically the rest of the sentence. And so it acts as the object. It is a noun clause. So just because you know the signal word doesn't mean it's going to always work for you. Here's another example. I don't care that you didn't walk the puppy. Well, you know that is a signal word for an adjective clause. But here, again, I use the same type of sentence so you would see. I is the subject, don't care is the verb, and that you didn't walk the puppy is the rest of the sentence. So that's the object of the sentence. And that's what a noun clause is. Okay, I know I just said that you can't rely on signal words, but knowing them will help. The signal words for noun clauses are where, what, when, who, whose, which, why, how, whether, if, that, whatever, whenever, wherever. Okay, there are some new words in there, which is great. That means anytime you see she's eating something. That means anytime you see a sentence with whatever or why, you know you're dealing with a noun clause. But you have to be careful because look at that. That, which, and who are main signal words. Sorry, I've got a puppy here. So that, which, and who are the main signal words for our adjective clauses. And then even when, if, and where are signal words for adverb clauses. So the trick here is to see how it's being used in the sentence. Let's look at these sentences. When I get home from work, I will walk the puppy. So, okay, versus I don't know when I will walk the puppy. First one's an adverb clause. Okay, one thing you need to see is that there is a clear independent clause. I will walk the puppy. And then the when gives information about when you're going to walk the puppy. Whereas the other one, I don't know, that's the real clause. And then You don't know what. You don't know when you will walk the puppy. I'm going to have to get her out of here. She's distracting me too much. Okay, we need to make it a little more confusing before it gets less confusing. So the examples I've given you so far are noun clauses as the object of the sentence. And they could very well be objects of the sentence, but they can also be subjects of the sentence. Now, these sentences sound a little bit strange, but it's because it has a noun clause as a subject, not a normal subject. So, why you didn't clean up the dog poop is a mystery to me. So, the sentence is a little bit strange, but the main thing here, okay, so we see why. So if you want to use your signal word to identify the clause, you know it starts with why. But the trick now is, where does that clause end? And the way you identify where the clause ends is you have to find the verb of the sentence. So if you look for the verb of the sentence there, why didn't you clean up the dog poop? Why you didn't clean up the dog poop is a mystery to me. Okay, so if you think didn't clean is the verb, well, that follows the signal word of why. So actually, that's the verb, but of the clause. So the sentence, the main verb of the sentence is. Okay? So, have you thought, another example, how you thought getting a puppy in the middle of a pandemic was a good idea is unbelievable. Okay, similarly, how is a signal word? So we know that we're dealing with a noun clause. But now you have to find the end of that clause, and it's going to end with a verb. So maybe you think the verb was a good idea, but that's not it. Is unbelievable. So whatever the whole thing up until idea, all of that's the clause. So this is unbelievable. So all of that, how you thought getting a puppy in the middle of a pandemic was a good idea. All of that's the noun clause. Is the verb, unbelievable is the object. Okay, little help here, little help. If you're totally confused at this point, please don't worry. We're going to practice, and it will help you to see this in practice. The main thing to know for now is that a noun clause, hands down, is the most difficult, most confusing one, mostly because the signal words are going to be similar to the other ones we talked about for other clauses. They can't be moved, and they're going to either start or end a sentence. So here's just a few examples. See if you can identify the noun clause. I wonder how I will train this puppy not to pee in the house. I don't understand why you thought this was a good time to get a puppy. Where you get your dog is an important decision. Which breed of dog you get depends on many factors. So clearly that's what's going on in my world. And don't worry, we'll talk about it. There'll be some practices just below.